You guys hear that?
Yeah.
All
There you
right,
go.
everybody, welcome to Top 5 Everything Week 11. With everything going on in the world, this week we decided to take on a more controversial subject, an important subject. And of course, I'm talking about top 5 robots. Um, we use the term robot very loosely. So, androids, cyborgs, people with machine parts all count. And this week we got a very special guest. This man graduated Hobart University with a degree in robotic engineering. He is currently working with Elon Musk on developing the Musk Bot 2000. Winner of the 2004 DeMatha Science Fair project for building a robot that could spray baby oil all over the cafeteria ramp. We would like to welcome robot expert Ian Brooks. Ian, welcome to the show.
Man,
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I've been a loyal listener for the last few weeks, so I was waiting for the call up, and here we are. So appreciate it.
so
This
glad
is
to
your
have
time.
more PG County representation.
Oh. Always a theme, always necessary for the show.
Well, Ian, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into it, and we're going to let
Okay.
you shine by taking the first spot. Can you give us your number 5 entry?
I think I'm going to go with number 5 entry. We'll do something somewhat serious here. I'm going to go bomb diffusing robots, the bomb disposal robots, the ones you can go in the heart of Afghanistan and not blow people up and get in and get out. So I'm keeping it serious for my first one.
Oh, I'm definitely not going to hate on this. Yeah, very, very important thing, and they save lives. And yeah, I'm with you. Good choice for number 5.
Thank you.
Ronnie,
Ronnie,
thoughts?
Oh, all right. A real robot. I don't think I even have a real robot on my list.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen, but
I guess
that's what I thought of when I thought of robots. That was the first thing I thought of, so that's why I
that's
have
good.
it on there.
That's a good pick. Yeah, you definitely need functional robots. I guess we're moving towards that area. And anytime, well, I kind of feel bad for the robot. He's got to get blown up. I'm sure they don't survive that. Do they? I don't know. Or do they like clip the wires to like try and save the robot?
I think it's probably 50-50.
You know how many false alarms there is? I mean, I get calls all day of mystery packages being left everywhere. I mean, it's got to be like 99%. It's nothing.
Probably.
yeah, I mean, I think a very solid start to the list. I don't think that anybody should argue this, but I just feel like there's if we have bomb diffusing robots, there's so many more things that we should be able to do. I don't know. They should be able to do so much more.
Yeah,
Like what?
Like a back
I don't know.
massage.
Like cook a pizza on the way to your house so it's right out of the oven.
Yeah.
Domino's will do that.
Like a robot that does it though.
No, I think
I mean,
Domino's.
these motherfuckers are putting out
cutting edge
bombs. I mean, all this dude's doing is cooking a pizza. I'm
Domino's
just
is pretty
saying.
quick though. Domino's takes.
There's only 2 wires to cut, the red and the blue wire, Danny. It's not that
on every bomb.
every bomb
There
ever.
seems to be problems every time a human tries to do it.
Have you not seen
So,
a Die Hard
obviously,
movie,
there's
Danny?
a need for the robot, just like
Wow.
there would be for the pizza thing too. I think.
I mean,
There's a market for it. There's a
I
market.
like where your head's at, Dan.
Ryan, I
Yeah.
mean, don't hate, bro.
I'm not hating. I think that was an excellent pick by Ian. I'm glad we had you on. You're showing your expertise already. And I kind of feel weird going into my next pick because, it's another serious pick. And I don't want to be somber all the way around, but I'm going with another serious pick with my pick, which is Metalhead from the Ninja Turtles. Shredder used his brain scanner to program Metalhead with all the turtles' best moves, so he is able to take on all the turtles by himself. he completely shrugs off Splinter's most powerful kick. He was on the verge of destroying all the turtles until Donatello was able to reprogram him. And Donatello programmed him to have the personalities of all the turtles. So you're essentially getting the best characteristics of the turtles, fighting and personality-wise. So that's why Metalhead is my number 5. Ronnie, any thoughts on Metalhead?
Oh, it's me. Okay. This is a good pick. I didn't remember it until you mentioned it, Metalhead. I think the last time I've seen or heard him be referred, I was probably like 6 years old, 7 years old. But I definitely remember the character, and it's cool. Fought the turtles. Then became like the turtle friends. I like Metalhead. I like the pick.
Danny?
I'm not super. I mean, did you say they just got reprogrammed by Donatello? I mean, that doesn't seem super tight. I don't know. I can understand. It seems like he's got some dope moves, but I also don't know if I want somebody that has 4 personalities. It seems like messed up situation there. I'm gonna say for number 5, I guess you can sneak him on the list, maybe, but not at a really strong start there. I wouldn't say.
Wait for my number 4. Ian, any thoughts on Metalhead?
I'm embarrassed, but I don't remember Metalhead either. As a Ninja Turtle fan, I just don't. I was thinking you were gonna go like the Brain and his
Brain?
thing, yeah, that he wrote in. I knew you would go like G.I. Joes or X-Men or Ninja Turtles, but I didn't know this one. You have any idea what he's made out of?
Titanium?
Titanium. I like that. Pretty solid dude. So solid pick. Good job.
Thanks.
And I like the explanation, the background. That was good.
Well, we're gonna go right into Ronnie's number 5.
All right, number 5, another serious pick. We got JohnnyFive for number 5 from Short Circuit. This movie was really cool back in the day. He was supposed to be a military robot, but he got struck by lightning. And as is the case with most robots, when you get struck by lightning, you become sentient and you start learning like a human. He had feelings, and I remember just watching the movies, and then it was kind of cool. He could read books really fast, and he didn't really have a bad bone in his body, but people treated him poorly. But at the end of the day, he always came out on top. So I love that movie, and I love JohnnyFive.
Back in the day, I mean, what was it, in the 80s? I mean, and then the big selling points is he reads books fast. This is a terrible pick. Terrible pick. No one wants to read books fast. It's a terrible pick. If you've watched the podcast in the past, you know that I hate reading. So bringing up reading as a benefit for this stupid robot is not going to sell him for me. I'm going to go ahead and give him the 2 thumbs down. Ian?
I thought that was Wall-E when you first pulled that up. Which is a good movie, but I thought like you built that model when I first looked at it, and I was pissed you didn't consult me. So I don't know that I really like this pick either. That's what I got for you.
It's all right.
Yeah, I remember after this movie came out, Chip Beamer used to cover himself in spoons every time it would lightning out and run out and try to get struck by lightning so he would gain all the powers of JohnnyFive. But that's the only good part about JohnnyFive. I mean, the movie was terrible. There's that 18-minute scene where he was just reading books, which was really terrible.
Don't disassemble JohnnyFive.
I'm disassembling this pick, so pretty bad number 5. Maybe worse than Metalhead. We'll see. So we're gonna move on to Danny for his number 5.
Yep, I'm gonna get get things back on track. My pick needs no explanation whatsoever. That's right. That's Rock'em Sock'em Robots right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
is probably going to be this will be the best thing on the list on Ron. This would be the best pick on Ronnie's list. I can tell already that Ronnie's list is going to be. This is a great. These robots are great. They don't care. They don't read. They don't care about reading. All they care about is knocking each other's heads off. And it's got 2 buttons. The original video game, man. Love the Rock'em Sock'em robots. I would play them right now if I had a set in front of me. Maybe they should make those in like bigger sizes because I would probably destroy them with these thumbs that I have. But that's my number 5. Just getting started, warming, getting the palette going here. Ian, any thoughts?
Dan, I love that pick. It floated through my head for a little bit. What I will say is I'm sure it comes as no surprise that whenever I had one of those, and I had multiple, I broke it as a child. So I didn't. Their longevity wasn't great, but it's a great game. Heads pop right off every time. Yeah. We actually have one of those in our office, so it's been pretty much in my life for the last couple of years. So I love that pick. Great pick.
So Danny, fantastic pick. I'm actually going to be saying a little more about it later, so I'm going to pass it on to Ronnie for right now.
I mean, I'm going to hand this pick. They're not even robots. They're just pieces of plastic. There's no robotic function at all. You guys are hating on JohnnyFive, who's an actual robot made out of metal and with circuitry. These are just pieces of plastic that are controlled by your thumbs. They're not even sentient. They can't even operate on their own. This is
I love that buzzword.
I'm sorry. This is terrible.
Well, that really seems like a revenge commentary by Ronnie. So we're going to pass it on to Ian for his number 4.
For my number 4 pick, I am going to go with the only person to ever beat Ken Jennings, who I absolutely despise, and that's IBM Watson, the answering robot, which is I read a stat, I guess, can recognize a human language and answer about 71% of all questions correctly. So I find that to be very fascinating, and he beat Ken Jennings, so that makes me happy.
Well, I definitely have a couple questions for this robot. I don't think he'll get right. Ken Jennings already creeps me out. That guy is, I don't know. That guy's probably done some terrible stuff in his life. So
little thing here and there, maybe.
Yeah, so I want to stay away from Ken Jennings. So anything that can beat him, people, robots, I'm all for. Ronnie, thoughts on IBM Watson? Brittany Watson's cousin.
Guest of the show.
That's true.
Favorite episode.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I didn't even think about that. It's a supercomputer, and I remember the battle with him and that other guy who wasn't that good, Brett, whatever. And then Jennings.
Oh, guys, my apologies. Let me share a winning score screenshot.
All right.
Oh no!
Cybersecurity expert DJ.
What did I put up there?
Everything. All your next picks.
Oh yeah, click on the image.
Whoops.
Click on the image. No one can see this.
All right, we'll stop sharing for now.
No, it's a really good pick. I'm a huge Jeopardy fan, and
can you edit that?
It's crazy. Like, I think there was one question where it got it horribly wrong, but the contestants also got it wrong, but I got it right. So, if anything, I'm smarter than IBM Watson.
IBM Watson this is new to me. Obviously, I'm not up on my robot game. I was trying to look up some quick stats and see what kind of records we got for IBM Watson. I feel like it's a good pick. I'm not going to speak much on it. I'm not going to act like I know much about him or her or it, I guess. But great name. Shout out to the Watson family all around. Good pick.
So for my number 4, I'm going with someone you gotta respect. Gotta respect the size. Gotta respect the technology. I'm going with Mega Godzilla.
Oh my god.
I mean, this guy kicked the
Knew it.
shit out of Godzilla. He was probably one of the only Godzilla villains to really fuck up Godzilla and to make him bleed. Godzilla was forced to team up with King Caesar to defeat him. I mean, this guy came back in 4 other Godzilla movies, playing both a good and bad guy, really showing off his range as an actor. I mean, all the simians are trying to do with Mega Godzilla is conquer Earth because their own planet was being destroyed. And maybe we should have let them, because they probably couldn't do a worse job than we're doing right now. So, Mega Godzilla, go ahead and conquer us if you want.
Yeah, this is a really good pick. Mecha Godzilla was I think he's in a few of the Godzilla movies, and he's sort of like the humans' counter to Godzilla. The only problem with him though is that he always loses. So he's kind of terrible in that regard. Also, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that I think he got torn apart by Godzilla and stomped on a couple times. So, it was a poor effort on humanity's part. It worked though, so it's a giant robot. It's a good pick.
Yeah, I see a little bit of a design flaw in the neck area. Robot. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not a whole super familiar with its fighting style. But I mean, I think for number 4, it's pretty solid. Number 4 getting onto the list is not a bad thing. So I'll move on to Ian since I'm not a super Godzilla guy.
I think that I didn't watch enough Godzilla movies to know that that this guy was part of them. I kind of felt
Never hung out in Chip's basement.
I probably fell asleep on you guys. That's definitely what happened.
He was breaking the rock and sock'ems.
I was breaking something or playing with puppies. I don't know what I was doing, but I don't know much about him. Is he the same height? Like, what would we say height wise? This guy is.
Same
he looks
height
a little.
as Godzilla, so
He looks a little compact.
He's like 200 feet tall.
Okay.
He's got missiles for fingers.
100 feet of that's neck, yo. Shit was.
Godzilla actually rips his head off. So yeah, you're right about the neck.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, he's a little top heavy, maybe.
Yeah.
But hey, if there's anybody that's passionate about Godzilla, it's you, Ryan. So I respect you for slipping it in there. Well done.
All right, that's how I do it. So Ronnie, let's go for your number 3 or 4. Sorry.
Trying to go through my list real fast, aren't you, Ryan?
Yeah.
Well, then you're gonna skip over the greatest feat of humanity in real life, the Mars Rover. Mars Rover, the only thing that's ever trolled or rolled or existed on Mars that's living. It's analyzed so many different aspects of Mars, soil samples, looking for intelligent life. It found water on another planet, and it's all being controlled. What is it, like 1 million or 4 million miles away? It's ridiculous, and the whole its battery's atomic powered, and it's actually still running. The original one was running for like 10 years after it was supposed to have expired. So, great robot, great job, NASA, folks down in Goddard, and Mars Rover is great.
So you guys ever be like, yo, what do you spend your money on, dude? Like, what the fuck? I just feel like that little picture that we saw there, like, how much money was invested to get that guy on Mars? Could we have used that to feed some people here on Earth, maybe, or dig some wells in some countries and save some people's lives? Perhaps, I don't know, man. It just, sometimes I wonder, what do we spend our money on? And I feel like that thing was probably funded by, like, some taxpayer money. I mean, he's just rolling around on Mars. If you're that cool of a robot, get back down here and help us out, son. What's up? You know what I mean? So, Ronnie, here we go on your list again. Slow descent down. Ian?
A couple things that I don't like about this pick. You said it was the first living thing on Mars. It's not living. It's a
I
robot.
didn't say it's living. Did I? I don't think so.
You
You did. I generally just hate space.
What?
Yeah, I just can't. I can't wrap my little brain around it. So I choose not to think about it. None of us are ever going to live on Mars. Why we should just leave it alone. And now we have what you said, a robot just roaming around that doesn't even have control anymore. Like, who the fuck knows what's going on up there?
Right.
And it looks like Wall-E also. So that's my thoughts. It's impressive, but that's what I think.
I mean, Ronnie, I usually try to support your terrible picks, but this is too terrible. I mean, I'm with Danny.
Humanity.
Dude, space exploration is the biggest fucking waste of money of all time. I mean, how many billions of dollars did we spend to get that stupid piece of shit up there? We could have fucking built so much. Like, I got potholes all over the place. Fix the potholes. Feed some people.
Yeah.
Cure corona. Cure cancer. Do something. Like, you know, build JohnnyFive. Do something with this money other than build a stupid robot to go put on Mars where there's no life anyway. And like, what are you gonna find up there anyway? That some cells that might be alive? Fucking great. Terrible pick, Ronnie. I was so excited for this week.
Running out of resources. We need more resources, and we always need to continue to learn, guys. Continue to learn. Read books.
You know, we got the magic school bus for that, Ronnie. We don't need the Mars rover. Danny, let's go to your number 4.
So we go from a wonky-looking robot to just a machine for my number 4. And I know some of you are probably even going to say, hold on a second, who is that guy on top of that car? But my number 4 is KITT. Yes, right. From Knight Rider. The Knight Industries 2000. Most of you out there listening are probably thinking to yourself, hey, isn't that the guy that got videotaped wasted eating a hamburger on the floor and his daughter asking him questions? And yes, you're right. But on the path there, that man became famous because of that car. This machine basically took him to stardom, got him the Baywatch job, okay? And basically in the international fame, apparently his music career was launched in Germany, all from this car, okay? So obviously this robot that is talented in many ways, but you can launch David Hasselhoff's career. Now that's a robot I can get behind. So KITT is my number 4.
Well done. I like it. You know, no one hassles the Hoff, so I'm not going to hassle this pick. It's a good pick. I don't know much about KITT. I think does he have like red headlights potentially?
Yeah, and he drives around himself.
He can do
controls
that. My question was like, do you think that this car was as cool as like a James Bond car, and like say, GoldenEye or Tomorrow Never Dies, something like that? Same bells and whistles.
It could talk to you as well. So
I'm showing my age here. I don't know much about KITT, but I like the pick. Hasselhoff, you can't go wrong there, and bravo, well done.
Yeah, I like the pick also. I guarantee you, if Hasselhoff was still riding with KITT, that burger video wouldn't be up online. You know, he would have just taken them to Wendy's and driven around Beltway Plaza and have him eating it drunk in the back, somewhere where no one can see him. Cool voice. I like how it moved when he was talking and shit like that. So, good number 4.
Yeah, this is a good pick. I love robots that are just on planets rolling around doing stuff. No, Knight Rider is a really cool show. I still remember the theme song. Him talking and the lights would flash. And he's also very sarcastic when Hasselhoff says something stupid, which is kind of cool. So other than that, though, he just drove around, right? He didn't do anything other than drive around and shoot stuff.
I don't know that he ever shot anything.
Maybe like little spike wheel action.
Exactly, yeah, those kind of things. But I don't think no projectiles. I don't think.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Ian for his number 3.
All right. Hopefully I don't fuck this up. But my third pick, one of my favorite movies, comedies growing up, Austin Powers. I am going with the Fembots. Plural. Hot ass chicks, sexy voices, machine guns in their boobies. They carried that whole movie. I believe they were only in one of them. They were in 2 of them. Got it. Did small like cameo role in the others. Just a solid pick. I mean, I'll let the looks, which I can't pull up the picture, but I'll let them do the talking for themselves. So that's my number 3 pick, the Fembots.
Great pick. I mean, Elizabeth Hurley ended up being a Fembot in the number 2 movie before she exploded. But I mean, these things explode due to sexiness. So how are you going to even be around one, Ian? You're going to be making these things explode all over the place.
True.
I mean, machine guns in your titties, I'm all for it. So, Ronnie, thoughts?
Yeah, it's a good pick. Although they all were evil, which kind of sucked. So their main mission was to destroy you before you could touch their machine gun boobies. But so Elizabeth Hurley. I don't think Heather Graham was one, right? No, she was just a human, but
she was just terrible.
And like a bunch of
there
you go, like a bunch of other ones. They always had like the fluffy like nighties, and then the little guns would pop out, and that was cool. Yeah, good pick.
This is absolutely a fantastic pick. The only reason I didn't choose it is because of the Me Too movement. But
Great.
In reality, these are, don't want to sexualize these robots too much, but man, this is a great pick. It was a great part of the movie. I actually caught that movie for like the first time in probably a couple of years the other day, and I actually watched it on TV, and I kept on watching it, which is crazy because it was like commercials and stuff. It's a funny movie, and that part in particular, I still laugh out loud every time he starts dancing. So. Great pick. Great number 3.
Thank you.
So for my number 3, Danny kind of already touched on it, but I'm gonna be a little more specific with my pick. I'm picking a Blue Bomber from the Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I mean, this guy has a 68.7% win rate against Red Rocker, which is an incredible win rate for only competing against somebody with the exact same stats as you. I mean, forget Street Fighter, forget Kung Fu. This was the first fighting game ever. I mean, this game is for everybody. If you're a button masher like Ronnie, you can get in there and slam buttons down and hope you just pray for victory. Or you can make it as deep as you want. You can play mind games with people. I mean, it's a pretty deep game for a game with just 2 button inputs. I mean, this game probably helped settle as many fights as it started. And I mean, you got to think back. This game came back out in 1964. I mean, this robot technology was really ahead of its time. So, I mean, we already kind of touched on that. So I'm just gonna pass it to Ronnie for his number 3.
All right, my number 3 is Bender from Futurama. Bender's the brash robot. He acts like a jerk to everyone. I can relate. He drinks even though he doesn't have to. It doesn't make any sense, but he just drinks constantly. He makes a lot of trouble for his friends, but he's really funny. He's like the only really funny part about the show. Him and the professor. But I always liked Bender. I always liked Futurama, and he has extendable arms. He bends stuff. That's why his name is Bender. But I like Bender.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate hugely on this one, Ronnie. I guess this is, we've plateaued. At least it's not going straight downhill. The only time that I've ever watched this show, I feel like you said, that the only funny part about the show is this robot, and it's not enough to like carry me to watch the next part where he's funny. So I never got too far into it. So I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna talk a whole lot on it, but I do feel he was the funniest part of the show, and he does. It is kind of funny. He's kind of just like, yeah, like wasted. I feel drinking and stuff was cool. So, Ian, thoughts?
I like the pick. Your first good pick. Welcome to the party. So I tried to watch this show because I was admired that Ryan had seen every Simpsons. So when the show came out, I was like, I'm gonna watch every episode of this show. I didn't, but I did like Ben most, and I always liked when he burped. His like thing would like reverberate.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I'm boys with him. I can get down with that. Good pick.
You know, I'm gonna keep the hate train rolling on Ronnie's picks. I mean, first of all, robots in the future are fueled off alcohol, so he did have to drink. That's why he drank all the time.
Oh, sorry.
Secondly, like I was thinking about putting him on my list because I used to watch his show all the time. But then I was like, he's kind of just like Bart Simpson. Like I liked him when I was younger, but now he just annoys the shit out of me. He's just an annoying fucking asshole. And you know, like promoting smoking and fucking drinking, that's not cool. I mean, and like what his job is, he was built to bend things. I've never seen him bend anything in that show. He's terrible at his job. Terrible pick. Let's move it to Danny for number 3.
So my number 3, I feel like at 10 years ago, this would probably be my number 1. And I feel like it's just like kind of like a stereotypical robot that I had to put on my list because it's, I mean, honestly, I mean, just like my whole top 5 could have been Transformers is my shit back in the day. But number 3, Optimus Prime, you got the king good guy, the guy, the big ass, 18-wheeler, like the front of the 18-wheeler, Transformers, they're more than meets the eye, man. And this guy talk about a leader, and how we need some good leadership. We need some more Optimus Prime out of all of us, everybody. This guy is, he just he combines the love of saving people's lives and saving humans, and he's a good guy. I love him. So number 3, Optimus Prime for me.
Like that pick, Dan. Transformers was on my list too, but I figured somebody else might have it. But it had to be on here. I mean, this show couldn't have gone on if a Transformer wasn't on here. Love the cartoon, hate the movies. Way overdone. Not a big fan, but love Transformers and Optimus Prime. What an American and what a leader.
There's like a whole nother series on now, and some of them are called Rescue Bots. And it's like Optimus Prime, like gets these rescue bots to work with humans. It's crazy, dude. It's the whole next generation.
What is that on?
It's just on Netflix, baby. It's great.
Oh, hell yeah!
I make Thea watch it.
Danny, this is a great pick. I mean, just talk about leadership. I mean, this guy is one of the best leaders of all time. I mean, Ronnie books him for his job all the time to go and speak places on leadership. I mean, his name says it all. Everything he does is optimal. I mean, and then I'm not even a big fan of the cartoon, but anything with Shia LaBeouf in it, give me more. So give me some more buff. So any of those movies with Shia LaBeouf in it, I'm all for. So good pick.
I like the pick the Transformer. I agree with Ian. I thought about it, but I was certain someone else would have picked it. Plus, I didn't know where it would go on my list because I had the Mars Rover and JohnnyFive on there. So he got nudged out. But you could have gone Megatron though, because Megatron killed his ass a couple times. And I don't think Optimus ever returned the favor. So Megatron. Starscream's kind of cool too. But yeah, good pick. I like it.
His voice is annoying. You should book him for stuff though, because he definitely he's a robot. He can't have COVID. So.
Yeah. I mean, if I can become buddies with a robot that can kill anyone, that'd be great.
So Ian, let's take it to Ian for his number 2.
My number 2 pick. I'm going to go a little outside the box here. Possibly the best dance of all time, made famous by Michael Jackson. I mean, I know we're trying to stay away from, issues that are a little iffy, but the robot dance would be my number 2 pick as a great robot in history. So let me see if I can share this screen here. Is this working? We got this guy?
Yeah.
All right. There he is. There's the robot. Practiced it many a times in front of the mirror. Not too good at it, but let's hear your thoughts.
Very, very unique pick. Probably going to be the most unique pick on this list, so I like it. We said we're keeping it loose, so I'm not even going to hate on the pick. That's not an actual robot. But definitely my favorite part of the Chappelle shows is whenever they had a big group of people, there was just that one guy doing the robot in there, and it cracked me up every single time. So just for that, I love the robot dance. Love the Chappelle show. So
yeah, this is fun. Yeah, it's not a robot, but it's kind of cool seeing people act like. I like people that can't do it very well. I think it's funny. They look like there's something like wrong with them, like they're getting stung by a bee or some shit. But
it's like their go-to dance, though.
Yeah. They think they look good, like this. But you're not doing very well.
It's pretty good, Ronnie.
Thanks, man. I'm not a robot. Yeah, if I was, I'd be on everyone's list. But yeah, it's fun. It's cool. I like it.
I love this pick, and I disagree when you're saying it's not a robot. When you start to do that dance, you turn into a robot. As soon as you start dancing, you're a robot, baby. So I love this pick. This could be the best. This could be one of the best picks in top 5 history. Can't believe we haven't had you on sooner. Amazing number 2, not even number 1. I am sitting in anticipation for number 1.
Well, there's a reason we brought a robot expert on, so good pick. So for my number 2, I'm going to go with Master Mold from the X-Men, who is just a giant sentinel. I mean, he has the ability to create what seems to be an unlimited supply of sentinels. So no matter how many sentinels Wolverine slices up, Master Mold will just keep popping out more. I mean, this guy had the right idea. He was trying to, eliminate those filthy, dangerous mutants and get them off the street. I mean, he got portrayed as a bad guy, but his only mission was to keep humanity safe by completely taking it over. I mean, this guy gave birth to Sentinel, who was the best character in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And he also gave birth to a toy Sentinel that I got for Christmas one year that Ian Brooks broke.
That's what I was gonna say.
4 minutes after I got it, Ian Brooks promptly destroyed that. So for that alone, I'm going with Master Mold for my number 2.
Yeah. I like the pick. I like the X-Men. He's one of their main villains. I guess he's the father of all the Sentinels or something. Like I guess they programmed him to make him. So yeah, it's a good pick. He doesn't do anything but sit there, right? He just sort of sits there and makes Sentinels. He's like shitting out Sentinels.
No, he can move around and stuff like that too.
Oh, okay.
It's mobile.
Well, he's got a huge throne. That's cool. Not many other robots have giant thrones. That's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it seemed like that picture was super pimping, kind of just sitting in your big ass throne, just making enemies over and over. You can keep on doing it, and you don't got to do any of the real hard work, really. You know what I mean? You're not going out there getting fucked up. I mean, this guy is a master delegator, and
Great leader.
Exactly, I was about to say. Seems
What'd
like
you say, Ryan?
Great leader.
Pretty good leader, just sending other people out on the front line to do his dirty work. So, gotta do what you gotta do. Ian, any thoughts?
The second I saw that picture, it was flashbacks. If there's anything I remember breaking, it was that, like the day of Christmas. I walked in your house uninvited, and I walked out uninvited after breaking that. Probably cried at home. I don't really like this pick. Then this brings back bad memories, and this is the worst pick on your list. So thanks.
Wait for number 1.
Yeah.
So we go to Ronnie for his number 2.
But that was the only reason you picked robots this week and had Ian on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I vividly remember breaking that. So.
All right.
Oh, I apologize. It was his hand. It was his arm.
His arm, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, need an arm. My number 2 is comprised of other robots to make the ultimate robot, Voltron. Space. Again, I know you guys hate space, but it's a cartoon, so Voltron is the ultimate weapon against evil in space. There's 5 paladins that control these different lion robots, and individually they're strong, but when they combine, they make Voltron, who looks like that with lion feet and hands and head. He has this cool ass sword he pulls out to finish off the giant monsters. So I like Voltron. From when I was little, Voltron and Thundercats, I watched that all the time, man. I love those Japanese style cartoons back in the day. So Voltron's the pick.
Yeah, I was a Thundercats guy. I don't really remember watching much Voltron. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I was just like so into Transformers. I feel like I would have liked this guy though, and yeah, I mean, pretty badass to have like lions or whatever as arms and legs as a robot. So I'm not gonna hate, but I'm also not gonna talk much about it since I didn't really watch much of it. You any thoughts on Voltron?
I think it kind of looks like a knockoff Transformer. They're not part of the same family, are they?
No.
So I don't know what this is. I think he looks cool. I would ask you as a watcher of it, what's the best part of all his different robots? Like, what's the most badass one? You say the lion thing?
Yeah, the black lion is the number
So,
one.
like, what could it do? What does it do?
The lion, or
Yeah, like, what's the superpower?
the individual lions are sort of like the same like machine. It's just when they come together, they form a giant robot, like an ultimate robot, and then
Got it. I clearly know nothing about this show, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's
really refrain.
Power Rangers before Power Rangers.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know much about the show either. I don't think I've ever seen Voltron ever. It reminds me of the Power Rangers where they all come together to form one thing. But those were kind of better because they were different things, not just all lions. At least you got like Brontosaurus and like random stuff. And T-Rexes. This is just all lions?
Yeah.
Great pick, Ronnie. I love it. Voltron for life. I'm gonna watch an episode. You piqued my curiosity. This is probably pretty awesome. So fantastic pick for Ronnie.
Right up your alley.
So great pick, Ronnie. So Danny, I'm gonna go for you. Can you top Voltron?
So I feel like I can, and this was something that I kind of wasn't really thinking much about until like I started doing some research for top robots. One of my favorite shows of all time, this is another one that I've forced my daughter to start watching because there's like a new version of it. But Inspector Gadget.
Ooh.
I feel like he's got all these different gadgets. Once again, he's just going around fucking around with all these different things that he can do, while his niece is out there solving the crimes. So he's a great judge of talent, bringing in family, keeping it close. But he's out there flying his, got a helicopter for a head, and got all kinds of different things that he can utilize to his advantage, even though he doesn't utilize them very well. Still a great show. And when I was doing my research, man, I was like, when I was thinking back, just so fondly of Inspector Gadget. I had to include him on my list, but I put him high on my list because I thought that it was, he could do some cool stuff. Ian, any thoughts on Inspector Gadget?
I like that pick, Dan. I was a big fan of that show. I believe it came on after school every day. He really couldn't get out of his own way, though. ever, right? Like he was just kind of a klutz a little bit.
He's almost like the Pink Panther. He's like a version kind of like that.
Yeah, just kind of like Mr. Magoo, Pink Panther, like just you wanted him to solve, but he couldn't do it.
Right.
It's a little frustrating show to watch, but I did like it. Didn't like the bad guy in that show and hated his cat.
Yeah.
But Inspector Gadget, that's a great pick. Like that.
I'm gonna throw a little bit of shade at Inspector Gadget. He's just not a good robot. I mean, everything he did was incorrect. He never performed a tax right. It was his niece and the dog that solved every crime. That, you're talking about the villain. They never showed the villain. It was just always his claw.
His voice.
And he was petting his cat all the time, and they never showed the villain, and that drove me fucking nuts. I mean, they made a remake of this with Matthew Broderick, and that guy's kind of a penis. So I'm gonna throw a little shade at Inspector Gadget. Like, I remember it fondly, but as far as being a robot, he's a pretty bad robot.
Yeah,
Ronnie?
Completely disagree with you, Ryan. This is a great pick, Danny. Inspector Gadget's running around yelling "Go Go Gadget," legs, Go Go Gadget helicopter, Go Go Gadget. If he's like one of them fembots, Go Go Gadget's owner, right? Like he's ready for every situation. Yeah, sometimes he misses the mark, but that makes him likable and makes him lovable. So I like this pick.
Well, seems like everyone enjoyed it but me, so good pick, Danny. So, Ian, top us off with your number one.
All right. Might get a little bit of pushback here, but I mean, I'm bending the rules here. My number one robot is what is the savior of Washington, D.C. sports. He has 706 goals all time in the NHL. He's third on the list, or I don't remember what he is. Born in Moscow, number one pick, Alex Ovechkin, the Russian machine that never breaks. That is my number one robot. I'm owning it. I'm saying he's half man, half machine, and no one can tell me otherwise. So, shoot.
I mean, let's talk about a malfunctioning robot. I mean, Jesus Christ. He was my number one most overrated athlete. I mean, go check out that episode if you want to hear me talk for 5 minutes about this guy. Hate the pick. Hate Schmovechkin. Only scores open netters. Terrible number one.
Disrespectful.
Ronnie?
Yeah, go Ryan on this one. Terrible pick. This guy can't even speak English. All robots are supposed to speak English. Everyone knows that. He finally won a championship because of TJ Oshie, true American hero. And he's not the savior of DC Sports. DC Sports had Darryl Green back in the 80s, early 90s. And,
whoa, dude.
Great athlete. Great athlete, and no athlete's better than him in DC. And I gotta hate him the pick.
What do you mean doesn't speak English? We not suck this year, baby. This shit is fantastic pick. I got Thea calling everyone baby she's like turned to Sophie the other day and said baby to her because I've been saying it since the run in 2018. I love this pick. Anytime you can sneak a cap on this pick, especially, I mean, put a statue of the dude up now, man. I don't care where you put it in front of the White House, man. You know what I mean? Like all other sports figures in the DC area pale right now to Ovechkin. He is by far, a leader in the clubhouse and will be forever for me. You know what I mean? Like, he brought a championship. He finally brought a championship home when no one else could. He delivered when no one else was. We had so much despair for so long. I love him. And he was so close for so long. He's such a lovable guy, a lovable machine, I would say. You had to root for him. So I love the picking. I was on the edge of my seat for number one, and I was there for a reason. So great.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go into my number one, and I'm gonna go for an obscure pick.
Oh God.
But for number one, I'm going Sicko, the robot from Rocky 4, the best Rocky movie. Rocky gives it to Paulie as a birthday gift. Its main functions are getting Paulie beer and blasting Kenny Loggins jams. I mean, this robot actually becomes Paulie's girlfriend and life partner, which is great because even pieces of shit like Paulie deserve to be happy in life. But the reason this is actually my number one is because when I was actually researching it, this weird fact came up. So this robot was actually invented in the 80s to help children with autism communicate. And Stallone's son has autism, and Stallone fell in love with the robot and put it into the movie. So any robot that helps children is cool as shit. So that's why I made my number one.
Yeah, I like this pick. Rocky 4 is the best Rocky movie. I love that, and I thought when you're saying obscure pick, you're going like way off the deep end, but I think everyone here knows what that is. And I remember it, bringing Paulie's birthday cake out and hanging out with the kids when they were watching the fight with Drago, Rocky and Drago. So I like this pick. It's funny, but I didn't know that part. I didn't know it was a real robot. Like, I thought it was just some guy in a robot suit, like every 80s movie with a robot. So, all right, yeah, good pick.
Yeah, won me over. I mean, obviously, this is what a robot should be doing instead of roaming fucking Mars. Should be helping fucking children and trying to communicate and talk. You talked about using your robot goodness for good. I feel like this is a great number one just for that reason alone. Didn't know that fun. I don't even know if it's a fun fact. It's a cool fact. It's, I like the shout out from the man himself. Putting it in the movie is great. So, great pick.
I'll echo that. Great pick, Rye. When I mentioned this to my friend that I was doing this, he said this robot, and I just didn't put it in because I had my list already. But this is a feel good story and a way to top off your list. We needed that. We needed some fresh sunshine in the world, Ryan. So if that's a saying, I don't know if that is, but
we got some fresh.
How it is.
Yeah.
We got some fresh.
Listen to this podcast. Did you hear Asante Samuel was talking shit about Daryl Green? You watched the other day.
Yeah.
On Twitter. It was funny.
Well, let's keep the sunshine going, the fresh sunshine with Ronnie's number one.
All right, my number one, I'm surprised it wasn't said yet, but I guess I'll be the person to do it. Definitely Terminator, T-800 model, one of the most iconic robots in movie history. I don't think it helped children with autism, but it probably could. It was sent back in time to first. The first one was sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, to destroy humanity. But then the second one, which was reprogrammed by John Connor in the future, was sent back to save humanity. And it also beat better models technically than it in the end, like the T-1000 and whatever the hell happened in Terminator 3, I forget. But yeah, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I watched it so many times. It's always really cool when you see Terminator 2 and even the graphics from that movie still hold up pretty well today, which is kind of crazy because it was like 91 or 92. And the one-liners from it, and it was fun to watch, and it's real sad. I cried at the end of Terminator 2, so still do.
You can't hate on a Terminator pick on the robot, list. I was never like a Terminator, like super big Terminator guy. Like I wasn't really big with the Predator or Alien and all that stuff either. But I respect the Terminator. So I'm glad I made someone's list, and I'll pass it to Ian to see if he has any thoughts on it.
Agreed. Had to be on the list to make this show official. Didn't help could have helped maybe with autism, but it helped the kid with some family issues who needed a father figure, and he filled that role. So great pick. So that's what I got.
Yeah, I gotta agree with everybody else. Fantastic pick, fantastic movie. I never understood, with all that technology to send somebody back in time, they couldn't send him back with, a pair of pants on. They got to send this guy back ass naked. Has to go beat up some, poor bikers who are just trying to sit there and play some pool. I mean, but overall, fantastic movie, fantastic spot, carried out its job, to perfection. So fantastic pick, Ronnie.
Thanks, guys.
Danny, what's your number one?
So my number one, like I said, 10 years ago, I would have been Optimus Prime, but now I'm 10 years older, and my next pick reflects that, I feel like. But I don't know if anybody is a fan of the show Parks and Recreation, but my number one is DJ Roomba. Yes, this is a Roomba that actually has a an iPod like speaker hooked up to it. Thing moves around, and it only plays bangers because Tom Haverford has very strict guidelines on what can be on his iPad. So this thing, I'm telling you, if 10 years ago we wouldn't even know what a Roomba was. Now this dude's going around picking up and just vacuuming while you ain't doing shit. So nowadays, with me being a lot more lazy or wanting more time, I feel like a Roomba for me, but especially one that can play some bangers while it's rolling around. You can just dance around it while it cleans, is my number one pick, DJ Roomba. So I don't know, Ian, do you have any familiarity with DJ Roomba?
I wanted to go 5 for 5 with picks I liked of Dan's. I don't know that I can get on top of the Roomba here. I didn't really like the show. I thought I love The Office. This just didn't hit the same way. Didn't slap. I think Roombas are very cool. I don't know how effective they are, but I like the idea. I'm lukewarm, Dan. I love you, but I'm lukewarm on this one.
Right.
I like the pick, Danny. I mainly like the pick of the further invention that it spawned. Ronnie actually hooked one of these up with a foam machine. So we had a foam party with it just going around and shooting foam everywhere. Unfortunately, it was an all-dude party like normal, so it was kind of weird. But if we had better execution, it would have been great. So the foam ball was pretty good invention, and it came from this. So great number one.
Foam ball. Yeah, I love this pick. It was under consideration for me to put on there, but I didn't ultimately pick it. I have a Roomba. Thing saves me so much goddamn time. It's not like a vacuum like a Dyson, but you just let it run every day and you won't have any problems. You don't have to vacuum as much. It docks itself. It knows where to go, so it can recharge. It announces when it's turning on. It lovably, hits into the wall and then, just sort of finds its way around. If there's an extra soiled spot, it'll say it and it'll just spin around in circles and get it all up. And it's great. And there's a lot of really funny videos on the internet of people with doing stuff with Roombas and like putting their cats on it or dogs or babies. So
Saw the baby one. That was funny.
DJ Roomba was great. That was a great episode.
All right, well that wraps up our list for this week. We usually try to end it with an ethical question from Ronnie. Ronnie, do you have an ethical question this week for us?
I do not have an ethical question this week. If you guys have one, maybe we'll go with it.
I'll hop in this week, Ron.
All right.
So we kind of talked about lying in the past on how ethical is that, but I got one more specific. Is it okay to lie to your significant other? Ronnie, let's go to you first.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. I mean, I lie to Monica all the time. I told her there's there's a cicada shell that was on a tree outside, and I put it on her back, and she hit me because she thought it was actually there. So that's kind of funny, but I wouldn't lie to her about like, oh, where did that 50-inch TV, HD blah 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 come from? Like, oh, like I didn't spend our money on it. Like, I wouldn't lie about that. So depends, but yeah, it's okay to lie.
Danny?
Yeah, I mean, you know me, baby. You should be lying all the time. Anytime you can lie, you should be trying to get away with it. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, with your significant other, just I feel like you're supposed to do it in certain times, especially. But yeah, man, like I'm all for lying. You know what I mean? All lie all the time.
Ian, any thoughts?
Oh fuck. I agree. I mean, there's got to be a few white lies here and there to make a marriage work. Yeah, that's how I'll go. Danny.
I mean, Ian, Danny, half of Ronnie, you guys are correct. Lying to your significant other is completely okay. If anybody out there thinks that I got somebody to agree to marry me without lying, you're crazy. I mean,
Sure.
Luckily, my wife is from Greece, and she didn't come here until she was in her 20s. So when we were dating, I would just spit out old American movie lines like I just made them up. So she'd be like, man, life is really crazy. And I was like, you know what, Ness? Life is like a box of chocolates. She's like, wow, Ryan, that's really profound. And I was like, thanks. Just came up with it. So only reason I was able to get her to marry me. So lying is completely okay. So I think that's going to wrap us up for week 11. We want to thank Ian Brooks for sharing your expertise to us.
Thank
we
you,
also
gentlemen.
want to congratulate you on the newborn that you just had.
That's
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you can use robots in the rearing of that child as much as possible and to use it for your advantages. Is there anything you want to say to close this out?
I didn't prepare anything, but this is awesome, and you guys keep up the good work. I have been watching on a regular basis, and fucking hell yeah, you guys are funny. Keep it up.
Well, we had a blast today. It was great having you, Ian. And tune in next week for week 12 with Top 5 Everything.
Miss you guys. Thank you.
Guys.